What did Serena say? What's that smell? Smells like bitch.
He doesn't have a job. He should be doing the dishes.
Something about the way you pointed your finger at me felt homophobic.
Really? That's Aries love to fight?
Well, I like to fight, and I have Aries placements.
I would not say thug in any other context.
Yeah, I mean, I guess if you're gonna flop, do it with your chest.
I feel like the most annoying girl you know, welcome to your tape.
My mother's name is Alicia Keys, yes. Famously the original.
My dad is Stephen A. Smith.
Something demonic happens when two white women that empower each other like that link up.
Pause up for Katy Perry.
You know what was the equivalent of like haters across the nation and LA kids alike finding out that Kendrick Lamar was headlining the Super Bowl?
What the equivalent is?
It's me finding out there's a Chopped in Brooklyn now.
Oh, God. I know, but you've been at the door waiting, though. I know, because you have been like waiting for the signs to come down, like for it to stop being boarded up.
Yes, standing outside, literally slept outside, like the grand opening for the next day.
Do you know that one video of that, like older white woman like banging on the bus, like singing a gospel song?
No.
That's you. I'll send it to you.
That's me outside
you waiting
Chopped.
for the Chop to open.
Yeah, and it's like it's brought something really important to the forefront of my mind, which is, you know, there's a lot of lies out there. There's a lot of discourse, all this sweet green nonsense, if you will. This sweet green supremacy. Yeah.
Who is a sweet green supremacist?
A lot of people. You? Are you? No way. You're a grown woman. You know better.
You know where I am.
You don't work in finance.
You know
so
where
you
to
know
find
better.
me.
You love a Popeyes.
Of course I love a Popeyes.
And the only person who loves Popeyes more than you is our dear friend Michael QB, who is now known at our local Popeyes. They're like, Mike, what's up?
I don't believe he loves it more. I've been at parties and I'm like, Popeyes near me.
Oh.
Like Googling.
And you're like, I gotta walk Remy. And I'm like, bye. Meanwhile, cut to.
Go on my way to a Popeyes.
Yeah. Remy can wait.
I love a Popeyes. Okay, so you like Chopped, you hate sweet green.
So let's be clear. I love Chopped. Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm serious about my salads. I want to be clear about that. I want real portions. Okay. This is why Chopped is actually taking the #1 spot when it comes to, what do you call these? Like, it's not just salad places, right? Because I feel like.
No, I would call them like fast casual.
Yeah, fast casual.
Like a Chipotle is in. I'm thinking of everything that's used to be on my old street. I used to live on a
anything
street
in Williamsburg.
Yeah, literally with a just salad, a Dig In, a Chipotle, a Cava, and that other place that made those rice bowls that were good. The teriyaki glazed.
Oh,
that's what it's called.
Yeah, but that one like is a little too niche for me. I feel like it has to be a little bit more chain like. I feel like we need to establish, and by I say we, I mean me, because I'm always correct, a ranking of the fast casual spots. And that #1 spot undoubtedly goes to Chopped. Okay, we're getting actual portions. We're getting Little Miss Mexican Caesar. Let's talk about a Mexican Caesar. Let's talk about a Mexican Caesar wrap. If you want to get a little carb in there, just as good as a salad. You want to throw a little extra avocado, a little extra chicken, throw it in the bag. Say yes and the little brownies on the side, delicious, divine. The lemonade, fucks.
Girl, what are you talking about
Talking
right
about
now?
salad
You're just
supremacy.
naming foods.
Yeah.
You're literally just naming
No,
foods.
because there's been too many people riding for sweet green. And I'm sick of the finance bros. I'm sick of the eat, pray, love white women.
What is wrong with sweet green?
It's way too overpriced. They're always out of everything. You try to place an order online, good fucking luck. You try to place an order in there. You know what? What did Serena say? What's that smell? Smells like bitch. That's the attitude of everyone working in a sweet green. I come in with my bright smile, my big eyes, batting my lashes, looking for love, looking for a light bite, and all I get is attitude and an upcharge for grilled chicken, for blackened chicken.
Not blackened chicken.
That's what it's called. And I'm just sick of that narrative. And I want people to know that sweet green is one of the best. Dig fucks for real.
Dig is so good.
And they're really expanding their menu. I don't know why they dropped the in Dig In, but like Dig supremacy. I think like, are you a Cava girl?
I've never had Cava.
Cava's all about the sauce. I'm a big sauce person. I actually did spawn for Cava. If you want to run that check back, we could do it again. But like Cava, the first time I had it, it was 3 days old because it was for spawn and I forgot to shoot it and I had to do it later. But then I had it a fresh time with new eyes and it was delicious. It was divine. And you know what's dead last? Just salad.
Well, it's just salad.
exactly that. It's
You
just
laughed
some salad.
way too hard at that, just so you know.
It's always your lamest jokes that I'm like,
Yeah, truly.
you're like, that was a backhanded compliment. But thank you.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about that one. I'll put a pin in it.
Sit in it.
Well, I have to say thank you. Thank you for coming to the park this weekend to meet my dad.
Sure.
Well, not meet him, see him. Okay, but this is actually, I'm happy that we're talking about this because Andrew always tells me that I say, oh, and by the way, or like now that we're talking about something as I'm already talking about it.
Yeah,
I'm
you
like,
changed the subject.
I'm like, oh, speaking of.
Yeah.
And it's like something that I started speaking of.
Like, what if I had more to say about Chopped?
I hope you didn't. That was an act of service that I just did. I was like, we gotta get through this ranking quick. This is like too much.
Wait, but yeah, you had a dad week.
Yes,
Weekend?
dad weekend. My dad was in town this weekend, and we went to the U.S. Open to see Tiafoe lose. Let me say this, okay? Everyone was like, Tiafoe's the greatest. No one low-key is his bigger hater than my dad. My dad was not impressed. He was like, we're watching the match. Tiafoe was playing so well and then started choking. And my dad was like, if he gets down 4 sets or 4 games in the set, we're leaving.
Oh, leaving.
And I'm telling you, this is in the second game of the set. So if you don't follow tennis, it's like, maybe he could come back. My dad saw it choking. He was like, no, we're about to go.
Did you?
Yeah, we walked out. And then after, in Tiafoe's like post-match interview, he was like, once I went down 4-0 and I started seeing people walk out, I knew it was gone. And literally I'm like, oh.
He saw 2 Black people get up, take their things, and leave.
Literally, my dad was like, no. As we were walking out of Arthur Ashe, my dad said, it's all over but the crying. Mm-hmm. Yeah, my dad is Stephen A. Smith.
Wait, wow. No wonder where you get it from. That's your uncle for sure. Oh my God.
But then, so we did the U.S. Open, and then we also saw the Alicia Keys play on Broadway, Hell's Kitchen.
Yeah? Is that a good breath or a bad breath?
I loved it. I will say I did not expect. Okay, let me say this. The story itself is like clinging to any sense of like drama. It's about young Alicia Keys and how she's like in love with a guy who's a thug, and she keeps calling him thug, and he's like, I'm not a thug. I paint houses, actually. I would not say thug in any other context.
I know, yeah.
It just literally is a big part of the narrative.
It sounded like anti-Black and crazy when you said it.
Well, that's how it sounds in the play.
Yeah.
Literally, this man is like, why do you keep calling me a thug? And she's like, oops. It's so crazy. But then her, like, it's kind of like Lady Bird between her and her white mother.
Yeah.
Who's like, I just want to like feed you dinner at the same time every night. I've worked so hard, da-da-da-da. And then like baby Alicia being like, like, I want to get
music
pregnant as a teenager and go drumming. It's crazy. But it can get very after school, especially. But the actress who plays her mother is so good. I'm talking about like brought down the house multiple times good. I was like, oh my God. She was so talented. I think her name is Shoshana Bean.
Oh, yeah. Mother to many.
Oh, okay.
Mother to many.
I saw her. I was like, and they also in the play, her name is Jersey. Like they call her Jersey Girl. And I was like, low-key, like you should have J-Lo's career.
Oh. I mean, she's just like for the she doesn't need what J-Lo is selling.
Well, she can sing. Like,
no, she can
that's
sing.
why she doesn't need what J-Lo is selling. She can sing herself. Oh my gosh, no, she was so good. And there were also these 2 Black women in front of us who were like probably in their 60s or 70s, and they were both wearing white jackets. They like accidentally matched. But when I tell you, when this woman opened her mouth, hand went up, went shaking, praise hands. Like they were in the church. I was like, that's gonna be us.
Did you join them?
I joined them in my way.
Okay.
Yeah.
You like tapped your foot a bit.
It's brave of Alicia Keys to give her music over to people who are better singers than her.
I mean, we remember that voice note crack. No matter what was uploaded to YouTube,
was
re-uploaded to YouTube.
Super Bowl at the New Year's Eve show?
It was Super Bowl with Usher.
And we also remember how she did Whitney at Whitney Houston's funeral, because that was a low moment for us all.
She's not a singer first, but she's a really nice lady.
Yeah.
Pretty girl.
Okay, but bringing it back around to my dad was like, I expected Peyton's mom to be in it.
My mother's name is Alicia Keys, yes.
Yeah.
Famously the original.
Yeah.
Also biracial.
And
we learned that recently.
And didn't make the cut. I would have brought it full circle. But anyway, it was a good weekend. Good wholesome weekend with my dad.
Wow. I mean, usually that's a hard thing to say.
We also went to the Statue of Liberty.
Oh, you had a full weekend.
Yeah.
I feel like when my parents visit, I always have to take 5.
Yeah.
I have to have a day where it's like, you take care of you.
We had a moment where I was like, okay, we're going to go to the Statue of Liberty and then we're going to come back and take naps and then we're going to go back out and like watch the women's final at a bar. And my dad was like, are we taking a nap for you or for me? I was like, we're taking a nap for both of us. We're both tired.
Someone will get hurt. Someone will get hurt. Well, cut to next week, 2 weeks. My father's coming in town. And of course, what did he ask? Can I come on the pod? And I said, no, don't get any ideas.
Oh,
don't get a single idea. Don't get
God.
1, 2, or 3 ideas.
Wow.
But tune in to find out if I survive my father's New York visit.
My dad actually listened to the pod. He only listened to the first episode when I said something about Brown not counting as a college, because that's where he went. And he was like, interesting.
And then he stopped. He unsubscribed.
Yeah, literally. Okay, so this week we're talking about Katy Perry, unfortunately. We're talking about her continued rollout for the album 143. And we're also talking about who deserves 20 slides on Instagram, and those are not the same person. And if you're my mother, stop listening right now, because we will be joined by Nakazawa to talk about horoscopes and cosmic compatibility.
Do not, under any circumstances, forget that we do have a bonus segment that drops every Thursday only on Wondery Plus. This week, we're talking about the new documentary, Seeking Mavis Beacon. So subscribe to Wondery Plus in the Wondery app or on Apple Podcasts to check that out.
So let me just say this.
Are
you looking for a home for your worst opinions?
Are you a hater first and a lover of pop culture second? Consider this a glorified group chat, but we're not calling you out. No, we're calling you in. It's a safe space
to talk shit.
But of course, I'm Peyton Dix.
And I'm Hunter Harris.
And this is Let Me Say This.
Let me say this. Let me say this.
I want to take you back.
Don't.
When I was 15 and I accepted the calling to be a Katy cat, I did not think it was going to go this way. I didn't think it was going to turn out this way. And I believed.
Put your fist down.
It's a paw, actually.
Put the paw on
up
the ground.
For Katy Perry.
Well, some of us knew.
You did not know.
Yeah, but I like to lie.
She was beloved. She was on top of the world. Teenage Dream.
No.
5 number
Platinum,
1 singles.
Of course.
5. And also a 6th if you count the re-release that includes the Part of Me. Anyway.
What, didn't you have some crazy number that was like comparable to Michael Jackson? In terms
Beyond
of, like,
Michael Jackson.
Oh.
And I'll say it.
And you sat up to say it too. So where are we now, 15-year-old Hunter?
Now we are in a state of despair. She is flopping in a way that I am like, but this is the thing that I love about her, though. Nothing is ever half-hearted. She commits to everything.
Yeah. I mean, I guess if you're going to flop, do it with your chest. Belly first,
She does it with her double Ds. Like, she said, I'm going to flop like you've never seen me
with
flop
her tickle
before.
bitties and her nice abs. And toned arms.
Absolutely Ozempic, but like Ozempic doesn't give you that definition. Like, she really has been in the gym.
I don't think it's the big O. I think she's just been up in the gym working on her fitness for Fergalicious.
Oh gosh. Okay. We can only have one
white flop at a time.
Yeah,
okay. Yeah.
So we're a few weeks out from Katy Perry's 143, and I'm being held hostage. There's a gun to my head.
Yeah.
And it's called every new thing that comes out. She was on Call Her Daddy, and oh, my sister.
Yeah.
It was bad. I only watched like 3 clips and it was like too much. I couldn't get through it.
Oh, I watched the whole thing.
Oh, wow. Okay, so report to the class.
Okay.
How was it?
Well, terrifying, of course. Something demonic happens when 2 white women that empower each other like that link up. First things first, the nipples. And you know me, I'm pro nipple. I'm pro nipple all the time. But what I saw was not nipple. What I saw was Katy Perry in a baby white tee and a nipple piercing through the shirt. Okay, Brandy Hellville, like what?
Oof, Lord have mercy.
It was, and of course, like it wasn't just like, oh, I'm casually wearing this because I'm thugging, like I'm just a raw girl like that. It was like, yeah, I'm wearing a shirt with nipples piercing through it, like, and I'm a mom, like you can do both. It's like, we know, we've had this conversation 20 times. So the setup alone was stressing me out. The conversation's open on Sour Patch Kids. And like, if they eat them or not, I don't know. It was just everything she was saying, she was speaking in a meme, and she was mostly talking about like her transformation as, you know, an artist and as a woman now that she's a mom. And then a lot on her relationship with Orlando Bloom that I didn't want to hear, nor did I care to hear.
Orlando Bloom was one of my first crushes.
Yes.
Like, that was the first man that I was like, wait.
He was the first man that I said, that's a woman. And I'm gay.
Interesting.
Pirates of the Caribbean.
I know, like,
that's
100%.
a lesbian relationship. Yeah.
No, I love Orlando Bloom, and then to see him like just as Katy, like as Mr. Katy Perry, is so random to me. Like, it never doesn't make me laugh.
Yeah, there's a bit of her talking about like, I don't know if you saw the clip, but in the
blowjob thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
If you do the dishes, I'll give you a blowjob. We've got to dream bigger, straight women.
Girl, get up.
Yeah.
Also, no one is doing the dishes in that house. Not either of them. I mean, be for real.
Well, okay, I will say she did say that. She was like, well, when the house cleaner isn't there, then he does the dishes, and it's like once a month. Like,
he doesn't have a job. He should be doing the dishes.
Yeah. What else is he gonna do? Yeah. Yeah. It felt like the whole interview felt like the epitome of that American Idol clip where the auditioner is like, okay, wig. And she's like, wait, wig? Did you say wig? Wait, no, that's for us. Yes, wig, totally. It just means what it means. Like, you don't need to know. It's like, are you queer baiting? Are you like trying to lean into some like former version of feminism that you think is like radical now? It was diabolical.
That kind of pandering is so like actually, mama, let's research.
Yeah. And
it's
I think
so over the top.
The only people left behind Katy right now, the gays are struggling out, is straight women and whatever you kind of are sometimes. Like,
I don't even think it's straight women. It's women who are sexy, beautiful, confident.
Sexy, confident, beautiful harmony.
Wow.
More
Finally,
on that.
I get a little shine. Oh my gosh.
That's my social clip of the week. Yeah, I will say there was also a particular part, like, to be serious for a moment, where she talks about working with Dr. Luke. And of course, it's Call Her Daddy. There was no follow-up on this like half-ass remark where she is, you know, asked to be held accountable, saying, you know, there's a lot of backlash about this person. If you're not familiar with Dr. Luke, he is a producer with abuse allegations from the one and only Kesha. So murky waters. A lot of people have stepped back from working with him for obvious reasons.
A lot of people haven't.
And a lot more should. But Katy very boldly and bravely stepped into that ring. Someone who's a very notable, huge pop star singer. Like, she's not some up and coming person who like is a little indecisive.
It's not like Doja Cat, who was signed to Kimosabi, Dr. Luke's label, who like actually can't get out of that deal or appears to not be able to.
Yeah, it was like an active choice.
Or Sweetie, who does still work with him, I think. But the thing about, I mean, I would not work with Dr. Luke, but Katy is going back to that well because he's the one who produced Teenage Dream. Like, he's delivered her biggest hits. And I think that's what she's trying to go back to.
So here's what she said. She really just sidestepped the question. But she says, I understand that it started a lot of conversations, and he was one of many collaborators that I collaborated with. But the reality is, it's come from me. She continues, the truth is, I wrote these songs from my experience of my whole life going through this metamorphosis, and he was one of the people to help facilitate all that. One of the writers, one of the producers, and I'm speaking from my own experience, and then goes on to talk about motherhood, which has, breaking news, nothing to do with working with Dr. Luke. It's just this like, oh, all of a sudden I'm talking about being a mom and like owning my feminism, and I'm ignoring this question entirely. And Miss Call Her Daddy's like, totally. So anyway,
that's how tired I am. That's how this is just what I understand that it started a lot of conversations. And then he was one of many collaborators. A lot of people wrote on this. A lot of people produced it, but it all comes from me. It's like, well then girl, it was all up to you to do the right thing. That's what I hear from this. I'm like, so this is entirely your album, entirely coming from your experience. And yet you couldn't stand up and say, no, you can't work with me anymore.
Yeah.
It's just so like messy.
Leave Daisy out of this. Is that her daughter's name?
Okay, but I mean, listen, if we had all streamed that album Smile, her pandemic Black Lives Matter summer album, as we should have, it was not as bad as people say, we would not be in this position.
You should run for presidency. The way you can reframe a situation is astounding. That was beautiful. That was Katy Perry levels of reworking the narrative here. But
I hate to say it. The album was not as bad as people said. It just had a really bad, like, clown circus-y,
yeah.
you know.
When does this album come out? When does this one come out?
End of September.
End of September. Okay. I'll give it a listen, I guess.
We have but that means that we have a lot more time for her to do more interviews
And more Instagram posts.
for her to say more things that like don't make sense.
Body is giving though. So that's always nice.
Oh my God. I do want to bring this back though, because when she had premiered the new font of this era, we were on Radio Lab and George said they're making Katy Perry into Charlie XCX, and that's exactly what's happening. Except in Charlie XCX, it's like not a, concentrated performance metamorphosis thing. That's who she's always been, and it's like finally, hit the culture in just the right way for it to be like a brat summer.
Yeah.
But like with Katy Perry, it's all just, I'm like, girl, what are you doing at a rave? Like what?
Charlie's doing Boiler Room, like bumping that at the Boiler Room. And then meanwhile, Katy is like throwing pizza. Remember that?
Yes.
People at the club. Like greasy, nasty pizza at people who are trying to catch it. Like take that shirt off. When Katy Perry wore the Charlie XCX famous "They Don't Make Statues Out of Critics" t-shirt and thought she ate that, that's when I knew it was over for you and your community of the Katy Cats.
Yeah. That color also, like that kind of salmony pink, looked so bad against her skin. It was just like not her color.
Yeah.
But at least her hair is back to black. Let's say that. You didn't live through Witness. You didn't live through the dual going blonde and shaving your head off, because that was not a moment I wish to return to.
Yeah. She looks great.
She looks great, unfortunately.
And
or fortunately.
That's all we got.
Yeah.
That's all we can get. Astrology comes up a lot in this podcast, mostly from me, or if we're talking about
Leos.
I just was waiting for you to do that, so But like, there's an important question, like how much we let astrology govern our lives, govern this friendship. I think plenty. Hunter doesn't like to think past being a Leo, but we're going to change that today.
I'm ready to learn. I'm ready to listen.
You're like, Mom, stop. Stop listening right now, Mom. So today might change lives, might change our friendship, because Hunter's a Leo, I'm a Taurus. We're going to kind of find out what that means today. Today with us, we have Issa, who is an Oakland-based writer, astrologer, and host of Stars and Stars with Issa, a weekly podcast on Sirius XM, in which she sits down with the most talented artists and thinkers of our time to see what their birth charts reveal about their purpose and innermost desires. And I do have to say I was just on it. So in terms of most talented artists and thinkers of our time, I just want to make sure we're kind of registering that. I'm not the Leo.
You're too much.
Yeah. Welcome, Issa.
That was incredible as an introduction. It's such a pleasure to be here. I love this show. And yes, Peyton, you were just on mine. So I'm very grateful to, be able to be on yours.
Yeah.
I love
Taurus rising. So.
Legends linking up. Okay,
Yes.
Issa, I have a very important question.
Give it to me.
Are you a lover or a hater? In general, how do you identify?
I'm definitely a lover, I would say almost fully.
Okay.
My hater days are behind me. I used to be a hater, and I think that was like a cover for how much I loved. If that makes sense.
Okay, no, it does make sense.
That was actually one of the most poignant answers we've gotten.
I was going to say that's the best answer I've ever gotten. Thank you so much for that. Okay, so now you said you're a Taurus rising.
Yes, I'm a Taurus rising, and then I have a Scorpio stellium, which means I just have a cluster of planets in Scorpio, and I have an Aries moon. And both of you have Aries too, so I'm in good company.
Oh, wow. Okay. So tell me, how did you get into astrology?
I was really skeptical of it, a la hater, like recovering hater. And there was like a very like academic bone in me that felt like skeptical in terms of the empirical evidence and feeling like maybe it was a pseudoscience that could have dangerous implications if people start dictating their lives around it. And then the thing with astrology is it's really dense. And so if you only know like horoscopic astrology or like kind of superficial stuff, I think it's easy to be turned off by it because it's a lot of people telling you about yourself. And you're like, if you're me, you're like, hold up. You don't know me
getting
at
told about
all.
myself. Excuse me.
And I do feel like Scorpio is one of those signs that's not really great to be when you're getting into astrology, because everything that people talk about with Scorpio is very like, you're a sex addict, you're manipulative, you're jealous. And so if you don't identify with those like very specific stereotypes, I think it just took me a while to warm up to it. But then I'm super nerdy and I loved like the mythological like history related to the signs. And I really respected that it was such an ancient practice. Like, I think that's what intrigued me. I was like, wow, this thing has been practiced all over the world circa forever. Like, let me not be a dick and like
Yeah.
look it up. And
Wait,
then, yes,
what's your sun sign really quickly?
I'm a Scorpio.
You're a Scorpio. Okay.
I love this. You've sold me. I like this like idea of horoscopes as like history, as like a cultural history. That's really interesting. Okay, but wait, I do have to jump in for 1 second
Yeah.
because
Jump in.
what sign gets the most backlash? Is
Yes.
it Scorpio? I mean,
Speaking of
Leos get a lot.
Scorpios.
Leos get a lot.
No, they don't.
Leos
Yes,
get a
we
lot.
do. Yes, thank
I
you.
feel like Geminis though. I like lately, I feel like in the last couple years, I'm just always like shocked at the Gemini slander. Like, I feel like, I don't know how you both feel, but I feel like it's pretty intense.
Okay, I
People are
love
like,
that.
Geminis, I would never, at least online. Like, you know how, I mean,
Yeah.
astrology is crazy online. And I feel like the Gemini slander is like,
I will say it's easy to like memify the Gemini hate. Like people
Yeah.
love to hop on that bandwagon, but now I think it's going towards, hear me out, Aries, which I think we all
yes.
are maybe recipients of. It's like sometimes it's
Mm.
maybe not Hunter's Leo, sometimes it could be your Aries. Aries love to fight. No?
Really? That's Aries love to fight?
Well, I like to fight, and I have Aries voice.
Interesting. I was
And
going
you
to
have
ask,
Mercury and Aries.
what signs have like the best PR? Like what signs like really know how to spin it? I think
Oh my God, these are good questions.
Leos, we know how to spin it. We're everything. We get the
Yeah.
most hate, we get the most love, and we know how to spin them both.
I
don't
also
know.
have noticed that Leos will like ride for themselves in the face of hate. So same with Aries. Whereas like I think Scorpios, we get too turnt and then it like proves the point.
Yeah.
We're like, what?
Yeah.
Like, and then Tauruses do that too. Tauruses are like, I'm not stubborn. I'm like, okay.
And 10 years
Can
later,
you
I'm
do
like,
that on the show.
I do.
That's
10 years
so
later,
crazy.
I'm still not stubborn. So like, you just need to change your mind and work around me.
Isa, everything you're saying, I'm like, wait, you know what I've been dealing with? Like, oh my goodness,
Yes.
there's like a pattern to all of this.
Oh, so you two
There's
plotted before this, huh?
I
To
do
take me
like
down.
thinking about astrology as pattern recognition, by the way. I do
Okay.
think it's like pattern recognition.
Interesting. So I'm a Leo sun, I'm a Virgo moon, and I'm an Aries rising. What is that? What should I be looking for?
Well, I'm
A
not
gun.
trying to not answer that, but I think in lieu to tie it to the question of how should astrology govern our relationships, like
Mhm.
I think it's really this interesting pattern I've noticed that a lot of like best friends who have a podcast both have a Mercury ruled sign in common, and both of you have Virgo. So Peyton, your Virgo rising, Hunter, your Virgo moon. And so I think that means both of you have like an attunement and a skill at language. And Virgo is very meticulous, very detail oriented. A lot of Virgos are comedians. I think that you'll find a lot of earth signs are comedians because there's something about like the precision and specificity and acceptance of absurdity that is like really key to earth signs. And so I think, and another thing that's interesting is you both have a lot of Aries. And I talked about this on the episode with Peyton, that Aries lightens Peyton's kind of delivery. And Aries, I think, is way better at saying things succinctly. Like Scorpio, for example, I have a lot of Scorpio and my writing can be like so dense and does not necessarily translate to a wide audience.
Mhm.
Whereas I feel like Aries Mercury, Aries rising, like definitely knows how to make things connect to different audiences, right? Which is really
Yeah.
key with what both of you do, especially like Hunter, you're a writer. And I feel like when you're writing, you need to know their audience, which I think is the perfect combo for Aries and Virgo because Virgo's so rigorous.
Yeah.
But Aries knows like, all right, this column is not for the academics though. So we got to like make it work, you know? So
That is fascinating. Oh my goodness. So you should be more succinct according to the
Okay,
stars.
I was just going to say, I wish you didn't use that word because every time we record this goddamn podcast, Hunter's like, shut up. Like, find the thesis point. My God. That
my
could
God,
just be
that's
my
so
ADD
funny.
though. Like, I'm just like running my mouth relentlessly, but I stand behind everything I say, which is the stupidest part. Like,
But I think what she's saying is true though, that you can read the audience very well and like know what connects.
yeah,
And that's what I'm hearing
what the
from
people
this.
want. What
Yes.
the people want.
Yes.
The
you
people's
know,
princess.
You can like code switch between audiences, between listeners very well.
Thank you.
You're kind of fun for the whole family.
Thank you. Okay, you kind of said
a
slut
lot
you
of, like,
out.
quick wit.
Slut you out.
It's quick wit. Like Aries and Gemini get along so well because they're both, think about like speed. They're both fast. And the sign that comes after the previous sign corrects it. So Gemini follows Taurus. Our pace is more slow and patient, and we're a fixed sign and we're here to sustain. And
Yeah.
Gemini corrects that. Like Gemini to me is like the hummingbird. they're like the both and sign. They know how to hold multiple truths at once, which is why morality is not their thing, because they're like, well, like
You can
there's
say
this
that
and there's
louder.
that.
You could say
But
that louder.
Gemini and Aries are fast. They're like they can process quickly. So I think it is funny to think about Aries not as succinct, because Aries is like, yeah, they're like motor mouth. They're like
Yeah.
talking, but it connects.
And
It's
little
like,
Miss Hummingbird over here does come to correct me often. So I will say that is true. I mean, I know it's so much more in depth than just Taurus, Leo, but is there a general compatibility there? Imagine you're like, no. You guys are not.
Yeah.
gonna
Then we
get
defy
along.
the odds.
Yeah.
Imagine that.
Imagine that. But I'm curious what the Taurus, Leo, I think we talked about this, a lot of people that are Leos in my life that are significant people, and significant friendships. Is there something that connects there between the two signs?
yeah, I mean, I have so many theories about it. I'm like coining this term that's really like, I mean, it sounds way too intense, but it's like the axis of destiny, where there's like a lot of axes in astrology, and Leo and Taurus are both fixed signs. Every single sign has a modality, and 4 signs share the same modality, and there are 2 pairs of opposite signs. So Leo and Aquarius are opposite signs, and then Taurus and Scorpio, and they're all fixed signs. And I think that when you have like a certain kind of shared modality, think about it as a shared orientation, a shared way of being. And so I think when it comes to collaborating or friendship, or it doesn't mean that like you can't get along with another modality. I think that's ridiculous. But I think there's kind of like a shorthand, right? Like there's certain people you meet and you just met them and you're like, whoa, it's as if we share a language, but obviously we don't share context. We just met. But I think those things really get felt in astrology of like, oh, we have similar combinations of things in our chart, and it kind of makes sense because the experience of each other feels like a sense of home or a sense of recognition.
I love that. Oh my goodness. Axis of destiny. That's really special.
Yeah. Because Hunter is really good at translating the neuroses and the chaos that comes out of this little noggin of mine to be like, okay, so here's a point. Yeah, I'm going to skip all the fluff to be like,
but by the same token, I think sometimes if I'm like very like mellow or quiet or something like that, you can really pull me out of my shell. And you're like, oh, this is what Hunter means. Oh, actually, we were talking about with my dad. That I am like not affectionate. But I'm like, okay, I love you, tracked. Okay, now what's the next thing? And you're like, oh, Hunter, what she means to say is that she loves you too.
I say I love you, Hunter goes, yes, thank you. Like, it's very like, but I know that means
translators.
Yeah, no, I think that's true.
We explored this a little on the podcast too, Peyton, about how your father is a Taurus, and how one of the things that got me into astrology, taking it more seriously, was I charted my grandparents, my parents, my siblings, and I, and it was like binary code. Yeah. And so thinking also about like these inherited patterns, which does not, I mean, free will is still all over that, right? But it's like just interesting thinking about and what we inherit, whether it's like our neuroses or contradictions, and how those play out in different ways across our siblings, across ourselves and our friends. So I find it just fascinating in that sense too.
Wow, I love that. Oh my God, I'm like gonna bring my parents' chart.
I was gonna say, do you know the signs of your, like the sun signs of your mom and dad?
October 21st and July 16th.
Libra and Cancer.
Who is who?
My mom is July 16th.
That's Cancer.
Does that mean anything about Hunter?
Yeah, I mean,
me holding a gun to you right now.
You have, and then the Libra is your father?
Yeah, October 21st.
Because I think we I'm not looking at your chart in front of me, but I think we just found Libra in your chart in your Mars sign.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yes. Yeah. So typically, your parents' sun signs can also show up in your house placements. So every house placement, there's 12 houses, 12 signs, and every house is associated with a sign. So a lot of times, like my parents and grandparents' sun signs would also show up in my sisters and I's prominent house placements. So I found that really poetic because the house placements really represent these significant themes that the planets influence. I was like, damn, that's poetic. Like certain aspects of my grandparents show up in like the themes that are most prominent in my sister and I's life, or like the big questions that shape us and our work. So sometimes it's not as literal as like, I have a Scorpio mom, but sometimes it really is.
But sometimes it is, because do you have a Scorpio mom? Are you a survivor as well?
I don't, but like all of my best friends have Scorpio moms, and they all have difficult relationships with their Scorpio moms, and yet they all gravitate towards me. So I'm like, I don't know.
That is fascinating. Oh my goodness. Yeah. But I think that could be true. I mean, I think that's like, I mean, what's like the footing, like you marry your dad or like you
Yes.
are like drawn to people who like
Yeah.
remind you of your parents. That's really, but that your relationships, I'm imagining, with your friends are like manifest differently. Like you don't have the same maybe conflicts that
Yeah.
they would have with their mothers. That's really
I mean,
interesting.
people with Scorpio moms, let's say with me, stronger than the troops. Yeah. So I kind of I need a medal of freedom or whatever the hell it's called because
Oh my
I
God.
survived having a Scorpio mom.
Oh, I thought your mom was a Leo. No,
Scorpio is
Scorpio.
hell. And
no,
a Capricorn
she's not
rising,
Leo.
get
She's
a grip.
just pretty.
She's just light
But
skinned and pretty.
also, you were talking about how your mom is willing to do hard work to transform. And I was like, that's the one thing I will say about Scorpio moms is like, you get the warrior spirit, and then you also get a mother that's like constantly transforming. Which
Yeah.
I feel
Wow.
like
Maybe it's the water in them like softening a bit when necessary.
Exactly.
After beating me to hell and then being like, sorry about that, babe. Anyway, like let's heal together. But I do,
Hunter,
you know.
what? Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Sorry, go on.
No, I'm curious what sign your partner is.
He's a Gemini.
Oh, nice. And you have Gemini Venus, right? We just discussed.
Yeah. Was that my chart?
You had Libra Venus.
Oh, I have Libra Venus. What does
Yeah.
Libra
Venus.
Venus mean?
Or Gemini Mars. You had something. Well, you have both your Venus and Mars, as I recall, are in air signs. So like air, Venus, and Mars really need that kind of like intellectual stimulation. And it can, I always say intellectual, I feel like that doesn't always resonate with people because it can also just be like conversational compatibility or like a mutual curiosity in ideas. It doesn't necessarily have to be like, we're at the bookstore.
Sometimes it is that though. Sometimes it is
They
that.
be at the bookstore. No.
Maybe at the bookstore. But I think that's really important when I see like a Venus and Mars and like a Libra and Gemini. And I also feel like shared kind of creativity is important too, because I feel like both of those signs really are interested in making connections that are quick.
Yeah.
Again, Libra's faster than Scorpio, so it needs a lot to process, to tickle.
Interesting. That's so funny. Huh. I think that's
Little
true of us.
tickle.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, we have some celebrity couples. Well, really, we have
Ooh.
one celebrity couple that
I think take it there.
Ben and J-Lo, 2 Leos. What does
They're
that
off
mean?
the chain.
We have
I
to
feel
know
like
about
they're
them.
Wait, they're like the best celebrity couple you could ever bring up because you know they have like matching mirror charts.
No,
Really?
wait,
We just thought they
really?
were both Leos.
No,
Wait, say
they
more,
both
say
have
more. Break it down for
Scorpio
us.
moon. They both have Scorpio moon and Leo sun, which is such an intense combination because I feel like Leos and Scorpios are both fixed. They're so intense in love. They're really into like grandiosity and like
2
and
weddings,
also
yeah. 2
I'm
weddings.
not in their relationship, but I feel like you can kind of tell there was always been tension around publicness.
Yes,
Yeah,
Scorpio,
totally.
right? Because Scorpio moons are so private. And I feel like the Leo and the Scorpio is such a contradiction because Leo wants like the kind of grand gesture and Scorpio is very private and can view that as like intrusive and potentially as like a something that can be corrosive to the relationship if it's like you're super famous and now everyone's in your business. And I feel like Ben seems like someone who's like, let's just stop.
Yes, Ben Affleck listening to this podcast, smoking a cigarette, drinking Dunkin' Donuts. Exactly.
Yeah.
He's like, thank
Finally,
you.
someone
has
gets
said it.
We don't need a
And-
14-side carousel post. Yeah.
Right. But I imagine from JLo's perspective, for her, it's like, I'm trying to show you my like undying devotion. And I can see her Leo kind of and her Scorpio being like, can't you see the bigness of my loyalty?
Mhm,
And
mhm.
I can just see it as kind of like, it's such a cool example of how you can have identical charts that are expressed so differently because of race, culture, gender, all the things that are also mapped onto our star charts, which is really important to remember. Like,
Wow.
there's a lot of
no.
other
Yeah,
things, you know,
yeah.
but I feel like there's such a good example. 'Cause
Yes,
it's
that
like,
is like a perfect distillation of everything I think about them, about how they are the exact same, like in opposite ways. Like she wants to go so big and he acts like he tries to go big, tries to have like the 2 weddings,
Yeah.
like the documentary and album or whatever. But then ultimately he's like, just kidding, I don't want any of
He
that.
just wants his Dunkin' Donuts delivered at his door and to shut it and lock
Yes,
it.
like he just
Yeah.
wants someone who like is very attuned to his needs.
Yeah.
which
which
one
may
are
not
you
be
guys
J.Lo.
more like? Which one do you all identify with more?
I'm absolutely the Ben. I'm like, I will drown this room in negativity if this is not exactly to my liking.
I'm her biggest hater, but I am also her sister.
Yeah.
I'm J-Lo. Like, those are our parents. Like, they raised us.
Wait,
Like,
that's so funny. That's exactly us. It's exactly us.
I relate to that. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for breaking down Leos. Listen, we need it. We need all the help we can get. But for breaking down all of this has been such illuminating conversation.
Yeah, thank you so much. And where can people follow you and keep up with your work?
Yes, you can. All my personal stuff is ISANAK, Isa Naka. And then the show is Stars and Stars with Isa on Instagram and TikTok. And it's a weekly podcast. Every Tuesday, we drop an episode. This Tuesday is Peyton Dix, none other than. And yeah, every week we have a new episode, and it's really fun to hear all the best, most influential writers, artists, and thinkers of our time break down their purpose, and they get pretty deep and funny. So check it out.
Thank you.
Thanks so much. I'll talk to you
Thank
soon.
you so much.
Bye. Well, I have my 13th reason why. Instagram has rolled out a feature that has put a gun to my head, which is 20 slide carousels. And I was already a little tight with 10. I was already a little like, okay, we don't need that much detail in your dump. But Instagram is an app that enables the most annoying people online, me, follow at Peyton Dix. And things have gotten pretty dire. The amount of songs I've heard, the amount of birds of a feather of you and your bestie on their birthday, enough. Enough. Put it down. Put it down.
I feel like the most annoying girl welcome to your tape.
It's me.
Yeah.
This is Hunter's tape. And I'm the one with the 20 slide carousel, actually. But we needed to talk about like the proper ways to be online. I know everyone should enjoy yourself and be free and like post whatever, but this isn't MySpace and it's not 2008. Okay, there are rules now. There's social etiquette to follow. And I've got a few.
I think we've all of these ships have sailed. It's too far gone. We're Drake, too far gone. Or is that so far gone? So far gone. There are too many ways to express yourself. Whatever happened to just being quiet? Whatever happened to living privately?
Wow, you said something really important. You should only have 3 mediums to express yourself. Twitter. And not Twitter with images, just a tweet and an opinion stated. Instagram, photo, not a reel, and TikTok / Instagram story with a video format. That's it. I think that's it. I don't want to comment on someone's
You're
Instagram
on your
story.
4th medium right now with a podcast mic.
Well, that's when it pays when you got something to say. And not every bitch can say the same. Only you, actually.
This is the thing. I think you need to earn it. You need to be able to earn 20 slide carousel. And not that anyone even actually needs 20 slides, but you should have to, I don't know, pass some kind of test. You should have to go, taking the SAT. You should have to go to a center and sit in front of a paper and just fill in a bunch of circles.
Yeah.
And then they're like, okay, yes, you can do it.
Legally, you're not allowed. 1800. Is that the high score? I don't know. What is the high score?
It changed and it changed back, girl. I don't know.
Yeah, well. Clearly, I didn't do well in the SAT because I don't know it.
But this is in a time of Instagram metamorphosis, to borrow a phrase from Katy Perry. There's so many new things now that I'm like, oh my gosh, which one is it? You can add songs to the carousel. You can add songs to your profile. You can share those little notes things that
the status updates.
Yes, that show only to people that you follow and follow you back. I'm like, ugh.
Okay, I'm a little pro some of those, and I'm con a few of them.
Oh, and sorry, one more. You can add story replies.
Yeah, that's
the
the
latest
newest
one.
That's the newest one.
I don't like that one at all.
Then that only came out a week after the 20 slides. It was let us breathe. Let us take it.
It's too much.
Oh,
We're
my
painting
God.
with different brushes now.
Period. Say that. I will say the story reply, the comment on someone's stories, just simply doesn't feel not just necessary, but it's not aesthetically interesting. I don't want to discourse with someone on their Instagram stories. I think the fun part of posting, maybe it's a thirst trap, maybe it's a hot take, is debating with someone in your DMs. That could just be in a DM. It doesn't need to be a public comment. Then post it on Grid if you're going to do a public comment.
Yeah.
I just don't find that remotely necessary. It was so random. I've been warming up though. I've been warming up to the songs on a carousel post. Not birds of a feather though. Enough. Not for your lover, not for your friend, not for your mother. I don't care. Wrap it up, Billie Eilish.
Oof.
But when it's low-key a vacation dump and it's kind of an aesthetic song I hadn't heard of before, I'm kind of Shazamming that. I might even let it play.
What is the aesthetic song you haven't heard of before,
It just
Miss
like
Gen Z?
You know, a little like a lo-fi, a little something, a little groove, a little bump, a little grind. You know, because you know it's birds of a feather on every single fucking dump, and then all of a sudden it's one kind of hit.
I don't like it though that it's like loud as hell automatically. da da da. It's like, excuse me, you know I'm checking my phone in line with a mean barista. Okay, you know that I'm like in the doctor's office. You know I'm on the train, and here comes someone. It's always Billie Eilish, loud as hell. I'm like, she doesn't even sing it this loud.
You're scrolling, and all of a sudden it's like, sexy, confident. Because you know someone used that. And it was Katy and only Katy, actually. But like, that is sometimes fun for me, very rarely. But it's like Reels play on auto volume anyway. So I'm like, fine, just add more noise to my headphones. Like,
I hate it because it's always like I'm looking at something first thing in the morning and a reel plays and it's like,
yeah. I immediately click the volume
yes,
off.
please.
Yeah.
I close my phone.
But how many are you like when you dump, do you dump hard? Sorry.
You're 12 years old and like late for lacrosse practice.
And I'm Gen Z brag. Youthful brag.
I think you'd be Gen Alpha technically. Anyway, do I dump?
I feel like you're like 5
dumps?
max. Like,
no,
you're like
I max it out every time. Actually, this is something that I just realized. Whenever I do a photo dump, I really like use up every slide.
Oh.
But then sometimes I'll like get, you know, whenever I'm doing an Instagram, I have to like be in the moment. I can't like fret over, you know, do I have one photo of a swimsuit, one photo of like a whatever landscape, like one screenshot of a song. No, I have to like do it quickly. Otherwise, I'm just gonna like not care anymore.
Oh, that I can't relate to that experience.
Yeah, I know that you can, but some people are
some people are normal,
shy.
some people have jobs.
Yeah, I can't spend too much time on this.
And this one is mine. But like I need like a photo, I need like a tweet normally. Mine second. Whatever you want most shareable, put it second. And then another
But then
photo.
that's what shows sometimes when people are scrolling.
Exactly.
But no,
but what
then
you want on your
to...
grid is like the hot photo. So when someone's like, ooh, do I follow this person? It's like, ooh, yeah, she's hot. And then it's like, ooh, and she's funny. Sharing the story.
I always think it's like third slide has to be like the meme or something shareable.
Oh, you make them earn it.
Yeah, because then the second slide is going to be another photo of me. Because guess who runs this account? Me.
You're such a Leo. Oh my God. Sorry, I'm trying to give it to the people. Sorry, I'm trying to make them laugh.
But this is what I think. Okay, putting on my woman in STEM hat.
Yeah.
This is what we actually need to know from Instagram. The order of story viewers.
Oh.
Because listen, when I was single, that's the only thing I wanted to know. Has my crush seen this yet?
Oh, and like, what does it mean when someone's higher up?
I feel like the ones that are higher up are like the people that you follow or like engage with sometimes. Like I always see like you viewing my story.
Obsessed. A fan. Number one fan. Sorry.
But then like if, I don't know, like my old roommate, if like I never see her viewing my story. And I know that she does because then she'll like text me about it.
Oh.
So it's just something, there's like some kind of hierarchy there that is very secret that I want to know.
The Instagram story watching hierarchy to me is just me assuming everyone has a crush on me. And sometimes being correct. So. You know what I don't believe in though?
Some people are too confident.
Some people are too sexy and too confident.
There's one thing though, back to the 20-side carousel that I have to come back to, speaking of Leos, and it's that one woman got dumped by her husband this summer, and she didn't even use a 20-side carousel, and that's Jennifer Lopez. That was a 14-side carousel.
I was like, who are you about to name? Like, what friend from Oklahoma is about to get thrown under the bus here?
No, this is my friend from the block.
Yeah.
Her name is Jenny.
I did see her on the block, actually. I don't know what they're saying.
Little girl in the Bronx running up and down the streets.
Hair looking crazy. I will say it's a coveted amount of people that would be allowed to use the 20-side carousel. And I would actually approve of her. With her most recent post-divorce dump, with the thought pic, the mirror thought pic.
That's what I'm saying. That was only 14 slides.
I know, and she should do more.
She had 20 and she only used 14. She's not wasting any time. That was an exercise in restraint, and many people should take that advice.
But I want like Martha Stewart to exercise her right. I want her to go hard with the 20 slides.
Because with her, I want to say like the drafts.
Yeah.
I want to say like all the photos that like almost made it.
Yeah. And she's like someone who I think is allowed to use social media however she wants. You know who can't? And I'm going to be brave when I say this. Beyonce. Beyonce and her damn photo editor and her social media.
It's so. Did you see that she has like 7 toes and 6 toes in like one of the photos from
No,
there.
but everything can't be a GIF. Someone needs to tell her everything can't, like,
But
not
it's
everything
not.
needs
It's
to
not a
move.
GIF. It's just like a boomerang. It's like a.
Worse.
It's like something back and forth. You know?
I know her social media manager is shaking, trembling anytime she goes on vacation. She's like, fuck, I gotta edit this against a patchwork background. I gotta take Jay-Z out. I gotta make her thumb go up and down. Like, it's so crazy.
No,
Keep her offline.
it's crazy that like all of those things feel like very TikTok to me. Like a lot of like animation, and yet she like doesn't really use TikTok.
It's like vintage TikTok. It's like when TikTok first
When
launched.
TikTok was called Vine, that's what it all kind of feels like to me.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna say at Club Chalamet, give her 20 slides. I want to see what she does with it. I want to see how she moves through this space.
No.
Yeah.
No.
I'm sorry, but yeah. Yeah.
All right, you keep fighting for your life with that one over there. Let's see how that ends. The people that deserve 20 sides, I will say, is me, actually. I'm kind of the people's princess of Instagram, wouldn't you say? Wouldn't
No,
you say?
that's Lana Del Rey at Honeymoon.
I still don't think she approved me to follow her, actually. She's private.
I know, and I follow her. I love it. Her and her little like alligator boyfriend, alligator chasing boyfriend.
Yeah.
Ironically, not Rob.
Okay, so
Snake catcher.
Lana, Martha Stewart, J-Lo. We're really empowering white women left and right.
Yeah.
And yeah, I said that on purpose after saying J-Lo.
And I guess, fine, take it. Take 20 slides. I want to see what you do.
Thank you. You'll like it. You'll have fun. I'll include one of your tweets in there too.
Don't.
Well, that's it for this week. As usual, we are 2 online, so you don't have to be.
I have so many app ideas. I have so many. Like, I think that you should be able to send a text, like schedule a text in advance. I should be an app developer. I need to leave this life.
And I should ride your coattails.
And Joe Biden, please, before you leave office, end Katy Perry's press tour. It's too much.
Let me say this.